Rome, the eternal city, the cradle of Western civilization. Since the dawn of man, I've been fascinated by ancient Rome. Their innovative nature, unbelievable engineering capabilities, and of course their mighty military machine are all legendary. Of course, they have their critics because they thought that crucifixion was a good way to punish people, and they might have caused genocides quite regularly, but we won't focus on such trivial matters for now. And just to highlight how incredibly biased towards Rome I am, here's a Roman punching a barbarian. Ha! Take that, scum! And so, it brings me great pleasure to bring you Expeditions Rome! A historical tactical RPG that throws you into the conflicts of the greatest fucking empire ever. Sorry Brits, Turks, and Chinese. That's just the way it is. There's a vast amount of content here, fun and challenging combat, characters you care about, and a story that got a bit tedious towards the end, but still managed to deliver an emotionally satisfying ending. So, let's go crush some unwashed barbarians under the mighty sandals of Rome. First, let's create our brave Roman. No, I'm just fucking with you. From my girlfriend's request, I created the shortest possible person and gave him red hair. Wonderful. For some reason there wasn't a portrait available that looked anything like my character, so I chose this guy, because he looks crafty. Now our hero is ready to kick some ass. We begin our journey on board a vessel under the warmth of the Mediterranean sun. We get to chat a bit with the other passengers, but it doesn't take long before there is trouble on the horizon. Pirates are boarding your ship, and the first bloodbath is about to begin. Combat! The combat is turn-based and has a good amount of tactical depth. There are 4 classes to play around with, and each of these have 3 subclasses. You can choose to go in swords blazing berserker style with the melee and support classes, or hunker down behind the shield wall of your principes and wither the enemy down with arrow fire and attacks with polearms. In this tutorial encounter against these filthy pirates, our options are limited, but I will show you the more powerful stuff in a second. As you progress, both you and your enemies unlock new abilities to use in battle. Some useful, like the ability to stun opponents so you can smite their unconscious body with whatever means you see fit. Others are completely OP, and sometimes things get quite gruesome. While I think there are definitely stronger and weaker options to choose from, the skill trees work well for different playstyles and builds. Weapons also have different kinds of attacks. This Gladius has 3 types of attacks, and these are different than Tutankhamun's dagger. Some weapons will have attacks that are better suited for your playstyle or the role of a particular character in your party. Here are my frontline tanks, the Princeps class. Heavily armored and ready to hold the line against any opponent.
I'm ready for all comers.
My main character has an attack that will enable him to incapacitate an opponent by stunning them so my damage dealers can kick the shit out of them. Let's see what that looks like. Tank number 2 has an attack that will enable him to deflect the next attack directed at him, making him untouchable, like Steven Seagal. This will allow him to soak up damage and protect the characters you don't want getting hit, like my damage dealer, whose attacks focus on maximizing his damage output, thus efficiently thinning the opposing side's numbers. Capiche? Then there are the tactical items. These are extremely useful items that you can use to heal or buff up your own troops, or to do all sorts of nasty things to your foes. You can break their shields, burn them, poison them. Ah, the sweet carnage. So, the battle system goes deep enough to satisfy pretty much anyone's tactical needs. Or, if you're just interested in the story, you can play on easy. Forget about tactical items or caring about which weapons to go to battle with. Just click on the enemies and you'll be fine.
Companions!
As mentioned before, your adventure begins with you fleeing the Eternal City after the untimely demise of your dear father. Your sister is married off to the murderer's brother, your mother is being held captive, and they both desperately need your help. You have your life, a couple of companions, and some family connections in the military. That's about it. In other words, you just clogged the only toilet in the house with fish taco diarrhea while visiting your SO's parents for the first time. And now someone's behind the door asking, "Are you okay?" Luckily for you, your companions are ready and able to help you out of this predicament. Frodo had Sam, Merry and Pippin, and you have Queso, Cineros and Bestia. You will be able to gain more companions later on your journey, like Julia Khalida. Each companion responds differently to your actions. After beating the tutorial, you face your first moral dilemma. Should you slay the possibly treacherous captain or not?
We cannot execute a man based on no evidence.
What do you think we should do?
The choices you make impact your relationship with your followers according to their personalities, and your relationship impacts their performance on the field of battle, and this is exactly how role-playing elements should be tied to game mechanics. Without spoiling too much, I'll reveal that the consequences of your choices range from super heavy, like who around you lives or dies, to more mundane ones, like the amount of defenders there will be in a fort you have to attack. I thoroughly enjoyed interacting with the companions. The voice acting is great across the board.
I've told you before, it is this idleness that bothers me.
I think we now know the way he plays the game.
Just listen to him nailing that wise older teacher voice.
He plays the game.
That voice is dripping with knowledge.
Silence! You utter nonsense!
The companions' personalities are nicely fleshed out, and you get the feeling they have their own ambitions and needs instead of just mindlessly following you around because you are the main character.
Wow, you're the grand champion.
You can help them achieve these ambitions by doing interesting side quests, and even honor the Roman god of love, Venus, by starting a romance with them. I feel this is almost mandatory, since every great story includes romance. Romeo and Juliet, Caesar and Cleopatra, Mark Antony and Cleopatra, Arnold Schwarzenegger and growth hormone, Wall Street and cocaine.
Cocaine.
You get the point. In addition to your companions, you have the Praetorian Guard. These are more minion-like versions of companions. Not standard orcs, but not quite the Witch King either. Maybe the equivalent of these guys and him. You manage their gear and skills, same as companions, but they can die permanently or leave your party if they become too unhappy with your management style. Luckily, you can recruit new ones if you have the coin. There are types of quests where you specifically have to use your Praetorians, so they do play a part in the game, but in the grand scheme of things I found them to be a bit insignificant. Like socks when picking an outfit. Unless you are one of those people who like to wear too short pants because it's hip these days. To those people, I would recommend the Roma Invicta SPQR Rome Roman Empire Latin socks. No sponsors or anything, just cool socks. Anyway, the only memorable thing about the Praetorians was one disgruntled employee. He and I did not see eye to eye, so I ended up stripping him of his Praetorian title. And his clothes. And eventually his life. At one point, a druid asks you to either carve out one of your eyes or to present a human sacrifice to appease his god. I had a hard time making a decision, since I didn't want to sacrifice a human for such an idiotic endeavor, but didn't want to lose an eye either. Then I remembered a certain naked snake in the grass, and thought, why not? So, his military career as a Praetorian continued, but unfortunately for him, it lasted only as long as it took him to jog up a mountain in his underpants and get drowned in a pool of blood. I was surprised that none of my companions tried to talk me out of it. They probably hated that cocky prick too. And the lesson of this story is that if you ever get fired and your former employer offers you your job back, but makes you work in your underwear, I suggest you refuse the offer. Talking about mountains, you and your trusted companions indeed have one to climb, and this mountain is divided into 4 acts. These acts loosely represent different historical military conflicts Rome was involved in, and you get to meet real historical characters like courageous Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, valorous Vercingetorix, Gallic chieftain, and mighty Mithridates, king of Pontus. This crazy SOB is also known as the Poison King because he ingested non-lethal doses of poison which granted him resistance or straight up immunity against various toxins, just like Wolverine. If you want to know more about him, there's a link in the description, along with links to some other interesting shit I found on the internet. Story! Every act repeats the same pattern, and this started frustrating me a bit. You have two main objectives: conquer territory for Rome, and the more personal one of trying to find evidence against this silver-tongued bastard, Lurko. With every act, Rome expands, but every time you're about to get evidence against this bastard who murdered your loved ones, things go south and you're left there looking like an idiot. I repeat, he's a bastard! There are multiple endings that result from your choices, and I'll only focus on one of them. This catch me if you can, oh, it seems I fucking can't game with Lurko wouldn't have been that bad if in the end you played a bigger part in condemning him for his actions. But when you finally manage to get one of Lurko's henchmen cornered and dragged to testify against Lurko in front of the Senate, this action is completely undermined by Lurko's brother. He married your sister in the beginning of our story as part of their plan to destroy your family. Maybe influenced by her, or for some other reasons, like ancient hallucinogens that made him re-evaluate his life, he has now decided to become a better man. So, he will testify against his brother in front of the Senate too. Which means your hunt for evidence against Limp Dick Lurko has all been in vain, since this turncoat's testimony is all the Senate needs to condemn Lurko. Now, you've struggled for years, suffered injuries, insults, and a profusely sweaty ass crack in Egypt. And everything would have turned out pretty much the same in the end if you just sat at your villa eating grapes and drinking wine. Maybe the alternative to this storyline could have been the brother turning good, but then getting killed before testifying if they wanted to use the brother's character arc to make the point that people can change for the better. Despite my disappointment with the whole brother's redemption business undermining my hard work, the game delivered a satisfying ending and the story overall was very enjoyable. There are 6 different endings in total. You can either rule Rome as the first emperor, get exiled, or sacrifice yourself for your friends and be hailed as a hero by the commoners of Rome, etc. These events and the fate of your companions and other people you meet during the story are presented through a nearly 10-minute long series of cutscenes with narration. And as I watched what became of my character and his companions, I felt a genuine emotional connection with them, and with a tear in my eye, I thought, well done developers, well done indeed. Lastly, the strategic layer and a bit about the whole Expeditions game series. As a legatus of a legion, you manage your camp improvements and command your legion while on a campaign. You secure resources such as iron mines and tanneries on the map, and use these to build more formidable palisades to help you defend against enemy attacks, or you can upgrade your bathhouse to improve morale. You conquer resources and enemy regions by dispatching your legion there. When the legion arrives, it's time to fight! Battles are fought using cards and unlocking different bonuses based on the combined values of the cards. Overall, I found the strategic battles to be disappointing, since the mechanics lack depth and the animations don't offer much value. If you could even see the unit group icons moving according to cards you choose, there would be some point at looking at them. But since the battle lines just meet in the middle and then stay stagnant till the other one flees, I felt these were kinda boring, like listening to Steven Seagal talk about the sentient fish he's going to eat.
Well, I shouldn't eat the fish because the fish is, an important sentient being, and that's true.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? But since pretty much every other aspect of the game was very enjoyable, and the game is well priced at 44.99 euros and $44.99, I really didn't care about the shallow strategic layer. The previous entries in the Expeditions series are Expeditions Conquistador and Expeditions Viking. I love that the devs are not happy with what they've achieved but are actively trying to improve with every new release while also listening to the community. I may not have enjoyed the strategic battles as much as I would have wished, but the fact that the devs implemented something like that into this game is a step towards enriching the experience for players. I buy very few games at full price, but mark my words. As surely as I would pay big money to be a kid again and see for the first time when Darth Maul ignites the other end of his lightsaber, I will be buying the next game in this series as soon as it comes out. It has not been confirmed yet, but from what I've gathered, it is likely that we will enjoy another Expeditions game in the future.
Oh shit, I almost forgot about the honorable mentions.
When you've advanced far enough in the story by completing the required quests and conquered enough regions, you get to the final battle of the act where you conquer some sort of a stronghold. These missions were brilliantly designed. They usually have multiple stages, they mix different kind of objectives together, you get to use all your companions and your Praetorian Guard, and even siege weapons. Loading times were fast as lightning. Music is pretty epic, listen to this. With 50 to 100 hours of playtime, there's plenty to do.
For yourself.
The world
Is
was
it
beautifully
true they
crafted,
built
the
two
level of detail
walls?
is remarkable,
It's true. They feared a Gallic
and overall this was the type of game that instantly evoked a certain nice feeling every time I loaded it up, heard the epic music and saw this screen. A sense of adventure and anticipation was activated in my brain that only the best of games can achieve. Final judgment is 5. Let me compose myself before I try to pronounce this word. Laurel wreaths and 2 barbarian heads on a stick. We'll be putting out some kick-ass content about Total War pretty soon, so be ready for that, motherfuckers! And as always, thank you so much for the new subs, the views and the comments. Please give us feedback about how we did on the video and suggest video topics for us. Ciao!